Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Yep, thank you for joining with us again.
Yeah, we always love doing this. Mom, how's your day going thus far?
Well, since it's midnight, I'm doing just fine, Brandon.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yes, are you ready to talk about another episode of S.H.I.E.L.D?
Yes, I sure am.
Okay, that sounds good. And we're on episode 12. We thank you for all our followers who are watching us along as I am watching this all for the first time. This episode is actually called Seeds.
Yes, and it released on January 14th, 2014.
All right. And just to give a little bit of an overview, just very brief, the team actually, in my eyes, go to Shield College. And so they actually go and see the place where a lot of the students who want to go to Shield actually are going to school. And apparently Fitz and Simmons attended this University College, and also Ward did some work there also. But anyway, they're trying to stop two students who are trying to freeze the world, and so the group goes down there in order to try to help with the situation. I should say everyone goes down there except for Colson and May. They kind of go on a different project initially. And then we learn quite a bit in this episode. But overall, the episode itself is really about trying to stop two children from freezing the world, or two college students.
Well, that's pretty good, Mom. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
And overall, what were your thoughts about this episode? Definitely a change of pace from last week.
Yeah, it was a change of play. It was a change of pace. When I made the prediction from last week, I kind of indicated that I thought this might be a kind of a one-off, meaning like it's not going to be a continuation of the series. It's more so going to be a let's chat about, or this episode will be about a particular situation, and in which case this episode was. But what surprised me was that this episode was also about the personal information about the characters. And so I didn't think they would get that deep after actually watching the last two episodes that we saw. Were you surprised at that, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't remember this episode that well from my original viewing, but yeah, I definitely didn't anticipate this being the time that we were going to get some of those answers about Sky. I didn't realize it happened this soon.
Yeah, and the big thing is we learn about Sky's background, and although we don't know who her parents are, we learn about the lady who actually, I guess, found her maybe or took care of her. And so, will you provide some information about that?
Yeah, so it seems that while we don't know who her parents are, she was taken in by a Shield agent, and then eventually a Shield team, and then it seems that for whatever happened, in attempting to protect her, they put Sky in the foster care system and had her move house to house for protection. But the main lady, the whole Shield team, and the village in which the Shield team was in were all massacred.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's very, very surprising. Kind of makes you wonder, like, who she really is and what kind of power, because they kind of indicated she has some sort of a power, but we are not told exactly what that is.
Yeah, they definitely strongly implied that enough where the one remaining Shield agent had went hiding for decades from Shield, not to avoid Shield, but rather to save his own life.
Yeah. So this will be interesting to see what kind of happens with this. And Sky does find out herself. It's just not Coulson and May who have this information now. Coulson does tell Sky all the details, and so we're not. We see her reaction because she's crying, but we don't know how she reacts in general about the information that she finds out.
And something I thought was interesting is the way Coulson explained it to her, in the sense that he said that I've been keeping a secret, but I realize it's not my place. I mean, having just unveiled the whole secret about his own death, I guess now he realizes that, I guess in his fault, he has no right to keep these type of details from other people.
Yeah, yeah, you could tell he's learned from his experience. But we also learn a little bit more than just about Sky. We learn a little bit about Fitz and Simmons and their life before Shield. Because they do go back to the college where they were at. And even they were there for a different purpose. We do see how they react with others in that college realm. And we see that Fitz has gone and he's bonded with who he thinks is the gentleman who is having an issue per se, meaning that he thinks that someone's either picking on him or that he just doesn't belong. And in the meantime, what Fitz really does is he actually provides more information, more details that this particular person needs in order to build this freezing machine.
Yeah, and I mean it's interesting seeing Fitz bond with the student Donnie Gill at the Shield Academy, especially since they explain that Fitz and Simmons were the youngest graduates ever at the Shield Academy, but Donnie Gill was very close to beating that record until explosions and evil scientist.
Yeah, and then we also discovered that these evil young scientists actually wanted Fitz and Simmons to come back to the college. They kind of needed their help with their new device. But then we also learned something else. We also learned that, well, we see that May actually tells Coulson about her relationship with Ward, and so I was surprised to see that come out. And she just very nonchalantly just kind of tells him this. And then one last thing, that clairvoyant leaves a message for Coulson.
Not only does the clairvoyant leave a message, it's through Ian Quinn who returns.
Yeah. So, I mean, for an episode that appears as though it is really just a single episode, meaning that it's just about one subject, it actually came in layers. So I was surprised to see that, and I thought it was done really well.
Yeah, I definitely thought so as well. And Mom, something I had wanted to ask you for a while is, how do you believe that the way that this show, Agents of Shield, portrays itself is? How do you believe it is in comparison to the Marvel movies that it shares the universe with?
Well, I mean, you could tell they're so distant from it. I think they're taking just some high level topics, meaning like with the superheroes and things like that. They're just kind of taking some high level topics and then and using the names of a couple of characters here and there, and but they really Shield can go on its own. It really didn't even have to attach itself to Marvel. I don't think. I mean, besides just making it a very um, besides just kind of saying that they knew the characters from some of the Marvel shows, it is not really ingrained in that particular Marvel universe, if that makes sense, because it can live on its own, and it is living on its own as a show.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. But would you say like the some of the overall like I guess themes and how it tells its story are similar?
I think so. I think because the way Marvel tends to do a lot of its movies is they kind of give you hints of things that are to come, and it focuses on different characters, and then it kind of builds on that to come all together for one big storyline. And I have a feeling that's what Shield is doing.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with what you were saying. I mean earlier, and that the show doesn't need to per se attach itself to some of the larger movie stories. To me, it definitely feels like that there's quite a bit of synergy between what's happening in the movies, what's happening in the shows, but that the show can also stand on its own, and so it's not as tied as some of like, for instance, the Disney Plus shows are now.
Yeah, I agree totally.
But yeah, but I would also say that I mean, at least for me, having seen the whole series, I feel like the way that Shield executes it is actually somewhat, I mean, to me, better in the sense that it gives the show a chance to stand alone without having to watch all of the dozens of movies necessarily.
Yep. Once more, I agree totally, Brandon.
And and mom, one last question I'll have before we go ahead and end this out is that what would you say um, is the experience, I guess, of watching the show? Like, do you feel sort of the same, like, I guess, on edgeness as we do for some of the, for some of the movies, or does it seem somewhat a little bit more like lighthearted or on par? Or what are your thoughts?
All of the above. Just sometimes it does have you on the edge. There are other times where you're just kind of it's just so lighthearted, and then there are times when you're just kind of like, did that just happen? So I think it's all of the above.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't agree more, Mom. The next episode we have actually takes place. I mean, release wise, 3 weeks after this episode we just discussed, and it's titled Tracks.
All right, I look forward to seeing it. Your brother cannot wait for me to watch this episode.
Yeah, well, we definitely are going to have to head right into it. Any thoughts of it before we head into it?
Actually, I have no thoughts besides maybe Sky and wondering where her mind will be in this episode.
All right, that sounds good. Well, Mom, thank you so much as always.
All righty, Brandon, and thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.